I have heard our next presenter speak many times, and I always come away with some great nuggets. I actually pretty much copied one of your emails that you shared last year completely in my sales, and I know you don't mind that because you invited people to do that. So you're in the right room, you're going to learn a lot, you're going to come away with tons of notes and tons of nuggets. Nobody better to share this content, and let me make sure I get this correct. DJ, I want to point out, Stacy asked me to play this next song as an intro, so I don't want to be Me Too'd. I don't want anybody going, I can't believe he played that for a female presenter. Stacy asked me for this song. Give it up for DJ Track Star Stacy.
I know, I was just in the mood for some saucy Santana today. All right, yeah, so if you read my name on the seminar program, it does say DJ the Track Star. That's not right.
Close.
Yeah, so, but we were just joking about that, so. All right, let's see if this clicker is working here.
Yeah.
No, look for this one. Oh, it helps if it's on.
I got you, Stacey.
For real.
Just edit this part out of the video.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I literally just tested this a second ago. I wonder if my battery died in the last 5 seconds. Let's try this one. Maybe so. All right, well, we'll just do it this way for now. Okay, so I want to just kind of clear the air right away, right? We're going to be talking about getting leads for jobs that are not on Saturdays. And I know a lot of people are looking at the reaction right now is like, Thumbtack? Can I make like a Peter Griffin exit out of this room? Right? Just give me a few minutes and I think we can address that issue right away, okay? So the first reason why people have that reaction to talk about Thumbtack and the Bash and Bark is because you're trying to book weddings on those sites. You can't do that. That's a total no-go, okay? Especially if you're the caliber of DJ that's sitting in this room right now, that's not gonna be a match for you. And here's why. Okay, so on the Knot, which has the highest average of all of the, listing sites, has the highest average for wedding DJ, it's 1,400. Okay, that's a national average figure. Now let's look at Thumbtack. Bottom of the barrel, average wedding, $550.
Ew.
Like night and day, right? Night and freaking day. Okay, the Bash is a little bit better, coming in at $635, but still, we're not even at half of what they're getting on the Knot, right? Primarily today, I'm not going to be talking about booking weddings. I'm going to be talking about booking other types of events, but just to kind of put this in comparison, okay? You are not trying to get weddings from these sites. But what you could get from these sites that actually pays all right is other types of events, okay? So the average on the Bash for the wedding was, what, $635, something like that? For a corporate event, $645. Now, how do you like that? Crazy, right? So the people that are shopping for wedding DJs on Thumbtack and on the Bash are really like your lowest echelon budget people, okay? But your corporate event planners who have decided not to call a talent agency, the Bash and Thumbtack are actually looking pretty good to them because they don't have a Knot equivalent or a Wedding Wire equivalent for corporate DJs, right? So, and this is kind of, just to see the numbers side by side like this, 4.5 hours for wedding, on average, $635. Less hours, more money, corporate gig on the same site. So, okay, hopefully you have some confidence now that I'm not talking crazy up here. Actually have some numbers from my own business that I'm going to be sharing with you later, and I was just telling Tori I'm a little nervous about this because these are like actual earnings from my business. So before we jump in, this is, like a collage of corporate logos, of corporations that I've DJ'd for, and I blacked out the ones that came from, Google or wherever else. So all of these logos are companies that I got from either Thumbtack or the Bash. Some pretty solid companies. I don't know if you see that one up there. That's Lamborghini. Anybody here like to DJ for Lamborghini? The freaking Lamborghini family from Italy was there at this event. It was the launch of the Lamborghini Urus, which is their first ever SUV. But anyway, these are all good for the resume, for the press kit. Okay, so one thing that hopefully will give you some comfort about the Bash is that it's actually owned by Wet n Wire and the Knot. So that should give you some confidence already, okay? The site was around before they got purchased by Wet n Wire and the Knot, and they really haven't changed it. The only thing that's changed is the name. It was Gigmasters, and now it's the Bash, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of confidence already in the site. So let's just talk briefly about how it works. All of these sites work a little bit differently. So what you're going to do is you'll go on the site, create a profile, okay? And then you're going to pay a one-time annual fee. You do not pay per lead. And the annual fee is pretty reasonable. It's like 150 bucks. Then you will set your gig preferences. This is really where you're going to weed out the kind of tire kickers and price shoppers that you don't want to work with, okay? The first thing is the event types. You are not checking weddings on your profile. You do not want wedding leads from these sites, okay? So click corporate events or proms or whatever kind of things that you're doing that are not weddings, okay? The other thing that's really important is there's a calendar. Each one of these websites has a calendar. Block out all of your prime time days that you want to reserve for doing weddings, which for most of us is going to be our Saturdays, right? So whether you have a wedding or you booked on that day or you intend at some point to be booking a wedding coming up on that day, just block all your Saturdays out. And then we'll only send you leads for other days of the week. Okay, that you never have to worry like, oh, I'm stuck doing a backyard birthday party and now I just got a lead for a wedding on that day. You won't have to worry about that, okay? Other thing is the travel radius, which I'll talk a little bit more in detail about in a minute. And then you start getting leads, okay? So pretty basic stuff. These are some real gigs that I have gotten from the Bash. This is probably, I would say like my second coolest gig that I've ever done. All expenses paid trip with luxury hotel to play a New Year's Eve party on the beach in Cabo San Lucas. That was the stage. Tickets were $100 and I had an opening act. Not bad, right? That is a real situation that happened because I had a profile up on the Bash. That one lead pretty much makes the whole thing worthwhile, but there are more. Movie premieres, bars. This was actually one I did like 2 weeks ago. Pool parties. Now, you can't really tell from the picture, but from where I'm standing, literally right there, it's in Palm Springs, I could throw a rock and hit Coachella. That's how close I was to Coachella. So this is a pretty cool gig. Actually, I had to have can't really see it, but I had to have like a bag of frozen fruit from the margarita mix under my laptop so that it wouldn't burst into flames because I was outside in the summer in Palm Springs. All right, so let's talk about strategy on the Bash. Most of these sites are going to be pretty similar strategy, but each one has its own little nuances, so you always want to be the first one to respond. And basically with the Bash, the way that they do it is they're going to send each lead that comes in to like 5-ish different people. You don't want to be the last of that group that responds. You want to be the first of the group that responds, okay? Make sure that you set up templates. So within the Bash's dashboard, they have a thing where you can make, a corporate event template, a private event template, whatever different things you've, selected that you want to get leads for, set up templates for those. So responding really just, you plug in the name and it's pretty easy. The next thing is you will get their email addresses, you get their phone number and their email address. So make sure that you plug in the email address in your CRM system if you're using, I use 17 Hats or you've got DJ Event Planner. set up an automated workflow so that you're following up with these people, okay? So make sure that you're taking advantage of having that email address. Again, I don't want to make sure that this point is understood, but make sure that you black out the dates that you're booked. So each time you get a new booking, one of the things that you're going to kind of add to your checklist is going on to Thumbtack, going on to the Bash. If you decide to use Bark and you can block out those days. This is kind of an interesting thing about the Bash that's different from the other two is each time one of the leads books you want to make sure that you mark that as booked. A lot of people will just take the job, get the pay, sign the contract, and you don't have any other involvement with the Bash. But if you don't mark that the client hired you, it won't show up on your profile. And even if you have 3 or 4 verified bookings, you'll stand out from the people that don't have any. You don't need to have 1 million, but even just 1 or 2. So each time that you mark that you're hired, they will charge you $20 to $40, depending on, it's like a percentage of whatever the gig fee was, so the more expensive it is and the higher amount you'll pay. But it's worth it because they can't leave you a review unless you've marked that they booked you. See what I'm saying? Like on some of the other ones, you can just send your review link to anyone. Not so on the site. This is something that's really unique about the Bash as well, is that you can create more than one profile. Now this is not like a cheat or a hack. It's actually in their dashboard, and there's a thing where you want to add an additional profile. So things that you can kind of do to double up so you get more leads is you could do different geographic areas. Like for me in Southern California, I'm willing to go, take jobs in Palm Springs, in San Diego, in Orange County, in Los Angeles, in Santa Barbara. So I could have profiles in those different areas. Or you can set up different DJ profiles. I think they have DJ, mobile DJ, wedding DJ, club DJ. So you could make different profiles just with different categories, I suppose. Okay, so this is, like Mike, he reads books to prepare for his seminars. I always try to, get some extra research in before I do a seminar. So one of the things that I did to prepare for this one was maybe in May or so, they sent out a thing, 50% off featured profile listings. In all the years that I've used the site, I've never done that, and I thought, well, we'll see what happens. I'll use it as research for the seminar. So I paid for the upgraded profile, the featured profile, and it basically just shows this little mini ad on the top of the page. And my listing is only 3 down from this anyway, so I'm kind of already at the top. I haven't noticed that paid off in any way. I haven't gotten a flood of extra bookings or anything like that. So I would say don't waste your money on a featured profile. Another thing is you can actually make a profile for free on the site, but it will only give you a travel radius of 10 miles. So do at least the basic profile, which like I said was about $150. That gives you a 100-mile travel radius. Some of the other ones are literally nationwide, but you could do that if that's up your alley. And then the site has some really cool analytics, which you want to be sure to check out. Different, where you show up in the search results and how many visitors you're getting. But this is the one that I think is really awesome, that not a lot of sites are willing to give you this kind of information. They show you how much money the other DJs in your market are making from this website, which is pretty motivating because this guy at the top made $9,000. And the next one was $5,000, $3,000, and so on. Now a lot of people at the bottom have zeros, which I think is also an interesting thing to note because they're either charging too much, right? Or they're not responding quickly or whatever. So you can see there's definitely people that are trying these sites and they're not working. There's other people that are trying them and they're really knocking it out of the park. So hopefully after this seminar you kind of have some ideas of how you too can knock it out of the park. Another thing they do on the Bash is they do have some badges if you respond quickly or if you have 5 stars. So those are kind of cool things. You can add to the sidebar of your blog or whatever. Okay, real numbers for my business. So I did do 2020 and 2021 for obvious reasons, but back when life was normal in 2019, I made $800 average from the gigs that I booked on the bash. I did 3 gigs total. So with their fees, each lead ended up working out to costing me around $50. 2018, $749 average. I did 11 gigs, so it cost me $14 per lead in the end. 2017, if it was $529, I did 10 gigs total, so about $15 per gig. So hopefully that's helpful to you guys, kind of seeing what's actually happening with the real business on the bash. All right, let's switch gears to Thumbtack. Thumbtack is a little bit different because it automatically matches leads to you based on your profile. So you're not going to really have a choice on who is matching with you. You have to kind of whittle the people down with your preferences, which I'll show you how to do. I've got some cool hacks on that. So how it works, you're going to create your profile, and then you're going to put your credit card number on file. So you don't have to pay an annual fee or a monthly fee or anything like that up front. They will charge you when you get a lead. And you can set a budget. So, you know, each week I don't want to spend more than $30 or $100 or whatever it is you feel comfortable with. The way that I have mine personally set up now, I have an unlimited budget because I have been so specific with the kind of jobs that I want to get. I only get like 2 or 3 a month. So I just left it as an unlimited budget. Okay, so again, you're going to set your gig preferences, super important. Make sure you pick your event types. If you don't want children's birthday parties, if you don't want sweet 16s, if you don't want weddings, which I would recommend not doing, make sure that you uncheck those. Block your Saturdays and pick your travel areas. This site's a little bit different. You won't have a radius. You'll literally be able to pick and choose the areas that you want. And then the other thing that's unique about this site is you can pick the budget ranges that you want. So their lowest one is like $300 to $400. You just want to make sure to uncheck that one. You don't want to get the bottom basement. People are just looking for the lowest possible thing here. You'll start getting leads, and then you'll be auto-charged weekly for however many leads that came in, okay? When you set up your profile, they will ask you, you know, how much is an estimated cost for a 3-hour corporate event, a 4-hour corporate event, a 3-hour birthday party, 4-hour birthday party, and you'll plug in for all the 8 hours. You'll plug in all your numbers, right? It's just estimates, but when someone goes on the website and they fill out, okay, this is the date of my event, this is how many hours, this is what kind of music I want. When they fill out all that information, they will only see DJs that meet their criteria. So you will not show up in their search results if you're booked that day, okay? So one of the things that's important about that is when the search results pull up, they will see your estimated amount for their gig. Okay, so if you estimate, you know, I would charge $500 for that, but then when you actually quote them, you say $750, they're probably not going to book because they're already thinking it would be in the ballpark of $500, right? So just something to be aware of. Other thing to be aware of with that is the amount that Thumbtack charges you per lead is partially based on what you estimate for each job. So it's kind of to your benefit to estimate low, but not so low that the people that are coming on your profile are like, whoa, that's like $200 less than it said on your profile for my gig, right? Because you don't want to alienate your leads. So again, your strategy, it's pretty similar. Respond quickly. That's uber important. In fact, yesterday I was at the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. with my daughter. We are literally standing in front of dinosaur skeletons. And I get a lead from Thumbtack, and I'm like, hold on a sec, and you know, we take a minute out, and I respond to the lead, and literally all I said was, I'm at the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C., I'll get back to you later, but I responded immediately, you know what I mean? And when I got back to the hotel room last night, I found out that I got like some gold status or whatever, so if I hadn't responded to that lead quickly, I might not have like bumped up in my level, which gets some extra customer support and whatever when you do that, so kind of interesting. They also have email templates, make sure you set those up, and you will not get email addresses, okay? So if you want to follow up, which you should do, you need to do it via text message, or you have to log in to Thumbtack and send them an email through Thumbtack. Again, I don't want to this is an important point because we're talking about booking gigs for non-Saturdays. Make sure that you block out the days you don't want to get leads. Okay, so block out your Saturdays or other if you're booked on a Friday or a Wednesday or something already. On this site, again, you want to make sure that each time a lead books, that you mark that you've been booked. You will not be charged, but again, it shows up on your profile so you look like you're busy and you're booking people. And then let's talk about the location thing from here. Okay, so this is a map of Southern California. I live in the pink circle over there, okay? And the purple areas are the areas on Thumbtack where I would like to get leads from. You may notice that corresponds with, on the other side of the slide, where the people have money in my area. Okay, so even though I live between like San Bernardino and Riverside County, right on that line, most of the gigs in my area are not really good matches for my skill set and my music type, whatever. So this is something that's really important. The other reason why the radius thing, which is how they do it on the Bash, why that doesn't work for me, is because, for one, 20% of my radius is in the ocean. When I was living further south, a good portion of it was in Mexico. So I'm like, okay, I'm only getting like half my radius here. But also all the X's are just areas where I'm really, really unlikely to work, honestly, as a DJ. It's a little pocket there for Palm Springs, but for the most part, it's gonna be at the beach. Okay, so this is a really important way for you in your area to get rid of the kind of people you hear in Reddit forums about, oh, Thumbtack sucks. Okay, if you use all of the tools that they offer you, you really can get some good gigs, like the ones that I showed you, or I'm going to show you again. So again, this is a Lamborghini gig, and this was at the Music Box in San Diego, so it's an A-list venue, it's an A-list client. This is one I recently did, paid community outreach. This was a really cool event. Cool venues. I got to work at Frank Sinatra's house in Palm Springs, literally sitting right next to Frank Sinatra's piano the whole night. Like, it was pretty cool, very cool. I booked conferences from Thumbtack. I mean, a 3-day conference is a lot of money, so good stuff. I hope you guys like the picture on the top. This was a drag queen brunch that I booked from Thumbtack, and it was on the waterfront in Oceanside, northern San Diego. And the company found out that I lived in Redlands, and they were like, "Oh, you're much closer to our Palm Springs restaurant. Why don't you come and DJ out there as well?" So, I ended up getting repeat clients out of it, and both of them, both were awesome gigs. So here is some kind of examples of the Thumbtack analytics, and they mostly show you kind of what the activity of other DJs in your area, which is helpful. This is the rewards that I was just talking about, how I went up to their gold level or whatever. But the more active that you are on Thumbtack, essentially, the better customer service that you're gonna get, and they really do have some crummy customer service. So it can be beneficial to not have to be on the bottom tier of customer service. So this is kind of a look at what they consider for their rewards. You get like a special gold badge or whatever when you get to the top level. But they're going to look at your ratings, your response time, and the volume of leads that you get. Okay, this is a really fun example, like Mike was just talking about customer service. This is a good one, but this is an example of Thumbtack. Due to an error in our system, you are mistakenly granted credit to your account. We reverse the credit. It literally did not cost them anything. They accidentally gave me some credits, like, you know what I mean? But they made sure that I knew that it got reversed. Nevertheless, that's what you're dealing with there. Okay, so some actual numbers for my business from Thumbtack. 717 average in 2019. I did 7 gigs total, so you can see a little bit lower than the Bash. The Bash is definitely going to be the premium of all the sites we're talking about today, but really not bad. And if you look at the volume and the amount of earnings from this site plus the Bash, That's really coming out to like an extra $10,000 a year. So you're still doing all your weddings, it's not taken away from your Saturdays, and you're walking away with an extra 10 grand. And I don't know about you guys, but when I do 2 weddings back to back, or 3 weddings back, even in the same week, like I am worthless for days. You know what I mean? I'm super tired, I'm exhausted, I'm crabby. So this is a great way to boost your income without having to do 2 weddings in the same week. All right, so we're gonna talk about Bark. This is sort of uncharted territory for me because I have never used the site until like 2 months ago when I got assigned the topic, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna jump in here and hopefully offer some more information and expertise to you guys. I'm gonna tell you kind of everything that I learned, whether you decide to use Bark or not, up to you, but essentially it works like Thumbtack in that you're gonna set up all your preferences, and then leads will come in. The difference is that you get to pick which leads you want to respond to. Rather, on Thumbtack, you're automatically being charged for them. Here's kind of an example of why that makes a difference, okay? Both sites will ask you what types of music you play. So I've got, top 40, oldies, hip hop, country, Latin, right? Every once in a while, I'll be quite honest. In Southern California, pretty frequently, gigs will come in that all they want is just hip-hop only. Now, I play hip-hop, but I really don't want to DJ like a 5-hour hip-hop only party, so it's probably not a good match for my musical expertise. I can play hip-hop, but I'm not a hip-hop expert, right? So that's the kind of gig, if it came in on the Bark, I would not respond to it. But on Thumbtack, it could be automatically matched to me because it's one of the types of music that I say that I do play. Likewise, that could happen with country music. You're like, oh, I can't do 5 hours of country music, right? Okay, so let's talk about how it works. Pretty similar to Thumbtack, except you're gonna buy a pack of credits. You can't just buy them one at a time. So I think the minimum was around $60, the maximum was $200. The more you buy at once, you get like a volume discount. So when you sign up, one of the things that, and this proved to be true for me, they have a guarantee that if you don't book a job within the first package of credits, that they'll give you another package for free. I haven't booked a gig yet I think I've spent a total now of like $150 on credits, and it's been 2 or 3 months. I've yet to book a gig from them, but they did make true on that guarantee and give me another free pack of credits. You'll set your gig preferences, so that way, like if you're not wanting wedding leads, you're not going to get wedding leads from them, but you still have the freedom and flexibility to pick and choose the ones that do come in that you want to respond to. You'll start getting leads, and then when you run out of credits, you'll buy another pack of credits. Now, let's talk about direct leads. So basically, on all 3 of these sites, someone can go on and say, I only want a lead from you. Otherwise, it gets the lead gets spread out to 5 or so different people, right? But they can request directly just a lead or just a quote only from you, okay? So this is an example. Spend my money on the direct leads, but this direct lead, they're looking for Nigerian music, which is definitely not one of my areas of expertise. So I don't know why they picked me. I actually didn't respond to this one, even though it was a direct lead. And it's for a wedding, which I'm not doing either, so nevertheless. Okay, strategies. So, on the other sites, I've really stressed, like anywhere really, how important it is to respond quickly. On Bark, I would recommend that if you are not able to respond within like 2 minutes, I wouldn't respond at all. The reason is because they're gonna show you, I think they allow like 5 people to buy the lead. They'll show you if someone has bought the lead before you, or if you're the second person or the third person. If you're, honestly, I would say if you're not the first person to respond, I wouldn't buy the lead. And the reason is because, kind of from what I've gathered here, is they're just gonna go to another website. If they couldn't find someone right away on Bark, they're just gonna go to Yelp, or they're gonna go to Thumbtack, and you know what I mean? So if you're not able to respond right away, I would just not respond at all. You can have email templates like the other sites, and you will get an email address so you can send an automated follow-up. So make sure you plug them into your CRM program and have a follow-up workflow going. Again, this is something that's different about Bark than some of the other sites. I personally didn't feel that they did a very good job of vetting the leads. I think the site that vets the leads the most was probably the Bash, and followed by Thumbtack, and then I would say Bark at the bottom. Some of the leads that I got in this little 3-month experiment that I've been doing, they didn't have an event date. And sometimes you need to respond quickly, and you're on vacation riding a bicycle down the sidewalk in Washington D.C., and so you're just like, okay, my kid's waiting, and we're burning out here. There were times when I responded to leads where I didn't notice that some of the information was missing until after I paid for the lead. Oh man, so I found that to be really irritating, so be very careful. I saw leads that were missing dates. I saw leads that were missing start times, end times, total amount of hours, like pretty relevant details that you need in order to give them a quote. You also want to make sure that you mark when you've been hired. On this site, there's no cost for that. And again, be uber picky about who you respond to, because sometimes, like on peak times when people are shopping, like on a Sunday night or whatever, you can get 10 leads easily. And if you respond to all of them, you're going to tap out your credits pretty quickly. So really be super, super picky. I would recommend really focusing on people that are having like a corporate event on a Wednesday and it's Monday. Like that's a good lead from Bark, okay? And it's not far from your house and you're willing to do it for like a reasonable price. This is a customer service experience that I had on Bark. After I had started my profile, like maybe 2 weeks after, I got an email from them saying that they had activated an auto top off on my credits. And basically what that means is when my pack of credits runs to the bottom, they're going to automatically charge me for another package. So literally they're just like, oh, based on the way that you've been using our site, we've automatically decided to, turn on this feature for you. And I had to manually go in and turn it back off because I just really wasn't comfortable with that. So watch out for that. I don't know if everyone just gets that email or if it really did have something to do with my personal habits or whatever, who knows. But yeah, customer service was meh. Okay, so we're going to talk about a few other sites and hacks. First thing that I would recommend is when you have a corporate gig for, say, an office holiday party, or maybe a lot of companies do like every summer a employee appreciation type of thing. Ask the person that's booking you, is this something you guys do every year? Or are you the person that plans it every year? And then guess what? If it's every June and May, or whenever they contacted you this year, contact them again, put a note on your calendar, hey Bob, it's DJ Trackstar Stacy, just wondering if you guys need a DJ for your holiday party again, or whatever it is. Make it easier for them. A lot of times, they're having the party and then you just don't get hired again because they couldn't remember your name, or they lost your business card, or it's a new person working in that position or whatever. So by taking the proactive approach, maybe you can land that lead, you can land that gig again. Okay, this is kind of an interesting thing that just happened. I just moved to a new area, which has kind of put me in a position where I really have like an empty calendar again, so I'm getting very creative with trying to drum up some business. And one of the things that, for me, that I love, like old country, like outlaw country, like Waylon Jennings kind of stuff. Okay, I've DJ'd at country music festivals, and there really are not a lot of places where you can play classic country music in Southern California. So I was talking to my friend Michelle, and it turns out she's the treasurer or something at the local Elks Club, and it's primarily old white people who like country music. And I was like, well, maybe we can work something out. I come in and DJ for you guys. They have like a steak night or something on Thursdays, so I DJ their steak night. Because it's a nonprofit organization, they can't pay me, right? So I'm like, all right, well, maybe we can do like a tip jar, and I'll put up like a promotional banner, and I'll put business cards on the table, and it's a Thursday, I'm not using a premium day. And I ended up making enough tips to cover what I would have charged them anyway. So that ended up working out really well, and I did get other leads from it. So that's an idea if you're someone that maybe plays like country or oldies or whatever. And then because also the Elks Club is a nonprofit, you can write it off. Zola. Any Grey's Anatomy fans in the house who got that joke? Okay, cool. Actually, DJ J Merge up here, he was telling me about Zola. I told him what I was talking about this year, and he was like, hey, recommend Zola. So this is for weddings only. You know, we've mostly been talking about like corporate gigs and stuff like that, but this is a site for weddings. And I don't know, you can ask him later, but basically, you know, he was telling me that he actually is getting quality leads from the site. The profile is free, right? Yeah, totally free, so there's really nothing to lose. Zola. All right, let's talk about Yelp for a second. How many of us just started our Yelp accounts for our business and like have not logged in since we opened the account? I know that's definitely me. For me, I'm one of those business owners that feels like Yelp is like a 4-letter word. Okay, but apparently you can get leads directly through Yelp now. So it might be to your benefit to log into your Yelp account and brush the dust off things, take out the cobwebs, and kind of update some of the new features. So you'll log into your Yelp for Business Owners account, and there's a leads center. I want to go over to there, and they have 2 different kinds of leads. Direct leads, so that's where someone went on your profile and they're specifically requesting a quote just from you. And then they have like general inquiries, which is where someone was like, oh, I need a DJ on this day, and they want to just get multiple quotes from whoever's going to respond. Okay, so 2 different type of Yelp leads. You have to like turn on these features. So you're not going to see the leads unless you've activated Nearby Jobs is the name of one of the features, and the other one is through messaging. Now the messaging is pretty important. Before I talk about the messaging really quick, if you do the Nearby Jobs, for the San Diego market, for the DJ category, it was $240 a month. That is a lot of money. Like, that's what we're paying for the Knot in San Diego right now. Yeah, so I don't know for me if that would work based on the kind of leads that I've seen from Yelp in the past, but nevertheless, coming out to $8 a day. Okay, so talking about the messaging, which is something I really think anybody in the room should activate on their profile. So you can see, I just took a screenshot of some DJs in my area, and it shows on the profile the response time. So here we've got 20 minutes, 1 hour, 10 hours. Now I don't know about you guys, but like this guy, the 20-minute guy, he could have 4 stars, and I'd probably still pick him over the other ones. Because it's just really that important to get this crossed off my list, and I don't want to sit around all day wondering if you're going to hit me back or not, right? So really important that you make sure if you turn on the messaging that you respond quickly. Now the way that you're going to do that is by downloading the Yelp for Business app, and that way when you're at the Smithsonian with your children in front of dinosaur bones and you get a lead, you can quickly just, knock it out or go back to the museum. Yelp hack. Is DJ Ecstasy here by any chance? Sometimes he comes. Okay, not here. Nevertheless, I hope that nobody in this room is taking screenshots of reviews and just posting like screenshots. Anybody doing that still? Good. I know you're lying. I know there's some people out there that are doing it because I've seen you out there. But good. You should feel like shamed with the hand down. I think that's a proper response. Okay, so when you get a testimonial, a new review, you want to make up a nice little Instagram square with the photo and, use like a Canva template, right? Like this one you see here. Now, think about how a Yelp profile is structured. What do you see on the very top? What's the first thing? Anybody remember? We don't have a lot of Yelpers here. I'm telling you, it's a 4-letter word if you're a business owner. Okay, on Yelp, the photos actually come up right at the top. Like before the name of your business, they're gonna see your photos. The reviews are actually way down at the bottom, and they have to scroll past a bunch of stuff to get the reviews. So you can put the reviews on top, by putting these photo tiles. And you can pick and choose which reviews you want to put. You can underline in red the important parts and all kinds of stuff you can't actually do with a real Yelp review. You know, and those reviews that get filtered out, like your best review ever that got filtered, you can make sure that that appears here. So post it up on your social media and then make sure that it gets on your Gigmat or on your Bash, on your Thumbtack, on your Bark, on your Yelp profile as well, okay? Another thing that you can do on Yelp, which probably wasn't around when many of us opened our Yelp profiles originally, is that you can add a video to your Yelp. Okay, you probably want to get a picture of this. These are some other sites that I dug up where you can create profiles and get leads. If you don't get any leads, which for many of these sites is going to be pretty likely, if you don't get any leads, at the very minimum, you get a link back to your website for many of these sites, which is helpful in and of itself. I will say though that the top one, Gig Salad, it's free profile, and I do get maybe like 2 jobs a year from that site. So you actually do get some leads from it, at least in my area, it has worked out that way. I literally just got a lead through Gig Salad last week for a Ferrari party in Palm Springs at a Ferrari dealership. So, and I've had other, you know, quality leads that came in from Gig Salad too, and it's totally free. So everybody get a picture that wanted a picture. Yeah, there's a lot, and honestly, these the last 3, these are just freelancer sites. Okay, so if you go on them and they're different from the other ones, just expect these ones are freelancer sites. I've had a profile on Upwork for a couple of years, and every once in a while there'll be a job that's like, I need a mix made for my gym, or I need a mix made for my dance troupe. Like kind of random stuff like that. It's not necessarily going to be an actual event, but if you're willing to do any sort of production. I had someone ask me to help them write a press kit once, just kind of random stuff like that.
You're missing one.
What?
Eventtective.com.
Eventtective. Okay, I'm sure I'm missing more than one, but I did go on each one of these sites and vet them because it's based on an older list that I had, so I was surprised. A lot of these type of websites did not survive COVID, apparently. Okay, so these are QR codes if you want to jump on and create a profile on the Bash or on Thumbtack. These are my personal promo codes for each one of the sites. So if you do decide to join either one of these sites, you can email me. That's my email address right there. You can email me your sign-up receipt, and I will send you not 1 but 2 of my previous seminars that hopefully will help you get a lot of success on both sites. The first one is how to write a site profile. I have literally just a step-by-step recipe on what to write in your profile. And the second one is how to respond to the leads. If you were here at DJ Expo last year, you actually heard me do that seminar. That's about it. Any questions?
You're that good at Stacy. You left them with no questions.
No requests. Mic drop.
Stacy, you're going to hang out in case anybody has a one-on-one question. You hang out for a little bit. All right, just to give you an idea of what goes on, 2 o'clock today. So in about 10 minutes, DJ Happa right down the hallway. And then in this room at 2:30, a great seminar, kind of an interactive DJ idea sharing will be in here at 2:30. So you got a tough decision to make. Let's get your turn on.